scariest Randonautica videos. Thanks for the response to our last video. We are back again with the most real and scariest experiences of Randonautica. Before we begin our encounters, subscribe to this channel or you will receive a black hand in front of your door tonight. Number 1. It's a bright summer evening where most of us would be inside enjoying the cool breeze or having a rest. But in all the sun, there will be a woman outside who had a marker on her application and she was looking for something. What did she want? What exactly is she doing out in the sun in her car roaming around? Looks like she found something she was looking for, as she stopped her car on track and went down inside the fence. And as we get a closer look at whatever she was looking at, we are left a little bit confused. There's what appears to be an abandoned blue blanket and some black earth that was just dug up in the distance. We are about as bewildered in response as you are, and perhaps the lady as well. There is a black garbage bag that has been shredded, and it has red objects inside it. Do these things make sense to you? This woman using the application is apparently too scared to continue looking herself, so she calls the police to help her over. Police arrives in their vehicle and they help her look around, but they soon leave as it was all too much for them to hold together. Number 2. There's another guy who tells about Randonautica that they want to explore something strange and they would follow whatever instructions the app is ready to throw at them. And he sets out along with an adventurous friend in a car as they wanted to see where they would be led to. The map in the app took them through woods where they can see a white blinking light and it kind of guides them right up to a tree which has a pentagon painted on it. What in the world could that be? And it does not end here at all. The app takes them further, and they see the same light guiding them. The strange thing was that no matter how farther they went, that light was always the same size and it refused to grow any bigger. It took them right into a house which was abandoned. As they looked around, there was a ghostly figure in the window and it was complete with arms and ghostly head. It disappeared really quickly, and the guys continued exploring the rest of the house. It was again that they saw a ghost in the stairway, and it seemed to be looking down the stairs. And as before, it was gone the moment they tried to look at it. And finally, they had an encounter that was really undesirable. As they came out, they could hear their names called out. But a closer look revealed that it was only the police looking for them and calling out for them to come out. It must have been quite a relief for those young guys who could not explain what those ghostly figures meant. Number 3. There's a channel called Exploring, and they go to various Randonautica buildings and sites to let people know if they are really true. The people in the video seem to have come to a fork in the road, and there's a warning in a different language they have never heard of. They tried to Google its meaning, and it's really creepy. It told them that the area was a property of the witch who had eyes on them all the time, and they should avoid it at all cost. It does not end here. There are rows of dolls with really scary faces who seem to be burnt, and we're out to give a message to someone in case they make up their mind to go to that place. We may never know the true purpose of them being out there. They looked as if they had black magic practices upon them and then left there. A bit further, the people saw 3 statues that were wearing clothes. At first, They thought there were some sort of crops nearby, and that they were simply used to scare people away or crows and other birds. But a closer look revealed that they were indeed a magic trick, as there were no crops nearby. There was also a shack in the area which was pretty creepy, to be honest. It didn't look like a home to anyone, and could be housing something that should not be there. As the people were exploring the area, they thought they could see eyes upon them all the time. They left quickly, which is good, as risking yourself for something menial is not at all wise. Number 4. There is a couple who decided that they wanted to get scared together, so they opened the Randonautica app that took them through streets to a dumpster. They open the lid and close it back in fear. When they finally managed to gather enough courage, they open it again, and then they saw a black bag inside. They are sufficiently terrified even before opening the bag, and they decide to leave it there as they simply couldn't take any suspense. And that was pretty much it, that they decided not to explore further in the bag, as they might have to call the police, which would not end well. Number 5. There is another story of a person who opens the app and directs it to get him somewhere that would be paranormal and creepy. The app takes him to a random address, and he drives there to wait for something creepy to happen. Unfortunately, nothing out of bounds happens to him, and he was really waiting there. Suddenly, he realized that there was something standing there looking at him. The guy was not moving at all, including his eyes, and was simply staring down at him. He was kind of afraid, so he drove off. Even while passing on the opposite road, the person looked out for the man, and he could still be seen standing perfectly still, staring at all the people. This really was crazy, man. Number 6. A group of friends tried to find out how much the app can listen and analyze requests itself. They write down a series of things that would scare them off the least. They all finally agreed upon a rainbow and wrote that down inside the app. They couldn't believe what happened next, and we couldn't either. The app made them drive through various streets, and somewhere they ended up in a place that had a rainbow fence all around. How about that for a neat surprise? And not long after the fence, they saw an actual rainbow in the distant sky. This went on to prove the app really does carry out your request, and it really does know what to do. Number 7. A group of 3 friends decided to test the app for themselves whether it can carry out tasks and take them to the right locations or not. For this, they decided to go and see any color, so they chose to put in orange. And to their utter surprise, they were taken to see an orange roadside cone. They were quite impressed with this thing, but not so convinced, so they decided to explore further any chances that this app might show fake data. They put in number 4 and waited to see what would happen. What happened next blew their mind, as they were taken to see a number 4 etched into the concrete. It had algae growing all around it. Not only that, the distance where they were shown between them and that number 4 was also simply 4 minutes. What are the odds of that happening? Maybe they were not entirely done yet, so they decided to check the app one more time. They put in the color blue. The app took them into the fields where they saw a blue packet of cigarette. So the app is capable of taking you wherever you want. And it did not end here. As they came back, they saw that their car was parked next to an energy drink and the can had blue color on it. It all seems so unreal to believe, but they did seem convinced after all. Number 8. There is another incident with a streamer who opens the app and follows it to an old and abandoned building in the woods. It's a windmill and she finds nothing strange, but we believe something strange might have found her in exchange. Just as she was streaming at the night, there was a pair of strange eyes in the window that wanted to get in, probably. As many of the viewers pointed out, it may have been something that came back into her home from that abandoned building and was now waiting for a chance to jump in. Number 9. There is again a group of friends who decided to explore where it can lead them. Just as they were driving past, they decided to think of something that would be most frightening, and they chose jungle clowns. The Randonautica app takes them into the woods, and that location is creepy, even by simply existing there. They decided to go look for a clown that might be present there. Just as they were passing through the woods, they heard something, and it turned out to be a circus music. They listened to it for a second, but couldn't resist. They were all scared as hell, and they made a dash back towards the car. They couldn't bear to listen fully to what was being played in the woods, but that was a wise move, we think, getting back when they had a chance. Number 10. There is another fellow who asked the Randonautica to scare him, and it takes him to a nearby cemetery. It was evening, and the environment itself was somber and dark. Just as he approached the graveyard, he could hear really skin-crawling screams coming. He even tried to record it all. And we can hear it all for ourselves, the terrible screeching and screams that go on in the background. He left that place in a hurry and went on to live somewhere else. But the suspense certainly did not end here. While at a completely different place, he switched on the camera and we can hear the screams again, this time from deeper into the woods, and upon listening carefully, we can see that these screams were nearly the same ones as we heard from the graveyard. So some people pointed out that he was indeed followed into that area by powers that were well beyond his comprehension. Should he have gone into the graveyard at all? We don't think so. That's all from us today. Do give us your reviews in the comment section and stay with us for more creepy and skin-crawling videos.